What's up guys, it's Zach Heidi, and today we're going to talk about productivity. Now I've been very much looking forward to making this video. This is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, along with efficiency. The reason I love this topic so much is because I think a lot of people think of productivity in the wrong way. Normally when we talk about productivity, being productive, we think of just constantly grinding at our craft. Working long hours, staying up late, cutting out anything in our lifestyle that doesn't reflect just being busy. But while I do like to work because I love what I do, I'm not an advocate of that kind of lifestyle. I spent about a week thinking about the things that I do in general to not just stay busy, but to enable productivity in a creative, freeing, and comfortable way. So today I'm sharing my top 5 tips on how to maximize your productivity. If you enjoy this video, do me a huge favor, leave a like at the end, and subscribe for more tips. So the number one mistake that I think people make when they're trying to be productive is they overload themselves with work. I used to do this too. I used to have a reminders page each day filled with like 20 different tasks of things I had to do. But there's 2 big problems with this strategy. The first is that we lose our sense of priority. When you have anything from do your laundry to client project due on your list, it becomes very difficult to separate a hierarchy of importance. The second problem that we have is when we see a lot of things on a list that need to be done in that day, we tend to feel overwhelmed. There's a YouTuber named Matt D'Avella who does excellent productivity videos, and in one of his videos he discusses the relationship between anxiety and boredom. He says boredom happens when we don't feel challenged enough, and anxiety happens when we feel challenged too much. Overcommitting to the amount of tasks you need to do in one day creates anxiety, it creates stress, it creates a sense of impossibility, and it's likely that you'll just avoid all those tasks altogether. Now the way around this is to ask yourself, if I could only get one thing done today, what would it be? Whatever that thing is, make that your priority task. Now when I say priority task, I mean literally just write that down for your day. You can have your separate scrolling list of your to-dos, but when you wake up in the morning and you look at your agenda, you should only see one task, at very most 3. Now sometimes it becomes impossible to have just one task for the day. Of course we have events, we have meetings, but in general I try to stick to this practice and I found it's been very helpful in helping me stay productive, organized, and just generally less bogged down by the things I need to do. So you can see here that yesterday I did a composition project and an orchestration, and today I was just filming this video in fact. If you watch my video on Parkinson's Law, I discussed Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek. In it, Tim Ferriss discusses a number of really useful and important topics, but this one really blew my mind when I read it. Tim talks about how when we have a lot of tasks to do, we often just factor in the time it takes to get the task done. What we don't factor in is the time in between each of those tasks that's needed for us to kind of reset and re-enter our flow state. Now, flow state is a creative state of mind where basically time kind of just moves through us. If you've ever been in a flow state, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll be composing or working on a project, and then you just look up at the clock and it's dinner. The clock's not dinner, it's dinner time. This is a really important and useful state of mind to be in. It helps us focus in on our task. But there's a period of time when we start a project where we're not in that flow state. And the more frequently you break up that flow state, the less engaged in any one thing you can be. Now this is partially why that priority task thing I mentioned is important. But the other side of this is that if we can batch similar tasks together, we can actually sustain a longer level of engagement in each of those tasks. Now what does this look like in practice? Well, today I'm actually filming 2 YouTube videos. The first is this video, and the second is going to be a film score analysis of WALL-E, which you can check out next week. Now I'm doing this because I already have my setup ready to go. I already have my microphone rolling, my camera rolling. All I need to do is take a minute or 2 to reset, pull up a couple projects, and I'm ready to go. So by batching similar tasks together, you can kind of eliminate all that reset time in between. In college, I had a teacher who told me that when music production interns were being tested, they'd be asked to do a given project or assignment using only their keyboard. If they used the mouse, they would fail. Now, it might seem ridiculous or excessive, but there's a really important reason for this. The capabilities of technology are constantly expanding, and in order for us to maximize our creativity and our productivity, we need to be on top of this. That means staying up to date with all of the kind of automations we can use, shortcuts we can learn, and giving as much of the non-creative work to the computer as we possibly can. Our technology needs to feel like an extra limb, something that enables us to just create freely, not something we're having an argument with back and forth to get the things we need to done. If I'm in the middle of a project and I find myself saying, there has to be a faster way to do this, I will look it up. I won't look it up later because I'm gonna forget. I look it up in that moment. This usually leads to me learning one new shortcut or automation a week. I don't recommend trying to learn much more than that because it's not about how many you know immediately, it's about how frequently you use these things. If you overwhelm yourself with trying to learn these shortcuts, you'll often forget them and have to relearn them all over again. Now, if I had already done the thing and I did it the slow way, I will undo it and I will redo it again with the new shortcut I learned. You're not gonna learn shortcuts by reading them in a book, you have to actually do these things to get them under your fingers. Now, right alongside efficiency is organization. The organization of our space often reflects the organization of our mind. There's a cycle that happens. When our space is disorganized, we feel disorganized and stressed. And when we're disorganized and stressed, we don't organize our space. Being organized applies not just to our physical space, but also to the digital space. Now, I can be pretty nuts about this. My downloads folder is completely empty by the end of every single day. And that's because it used to be a folder filled with 10,000 files, some things very important, some things not important at all. Now, in the same way that we set a priority task per day, we also have priorities in terms of organization. Some things are extremely important to be organized, such as our emails, our project version numbers, instruments and VSTs we use frequently, and business-related finances. But beyond that, if you find yourself being hyper-organized about things that aren't really improving your productivity, you may just be procrastinating on a project. Focus your organizational brain on sorting out those things that, when they're organized, benefit you the most in the middle of creative projects. A couple years ago, someone told me you can always tell someone's priorities by looking at their calendar and their checkbook. As you progress through your creative journey, you're going to get faster. You're going to get more productive. You're going to get more organized. You're going to get better at what you do. And as a result, the things that took you 10 hours might take you 5, and then they might eventually take you 2. But don't fall into the trap of thinking that you're being less productive. And don't fall into the trap of thinking that you need to fill that space with more work. When you reach that point, enjoy it. Buffer in time for the other things in your life, for relationships, for going outside, for playing your favorite video game, for watching a movie, for learning how to cook. Ultimately, being productive in the long term means being balanced. And you just can't stay balanced by working all the time. Don't fall into the trap of grind culture. Don't think you have to work all the time to stay productive. I promise that you can be a productive, efficient, professional person while taking weekends off and enjoying time with loved ones. Hopefully that was helpful to you all. Be sure to comment down below what your favorite tip was. I love hearing from you all and hearing what resonates with you. Next week, I'm releasing a film score analysis and mock-up of a cue from WALL-E, which I'm going to be recording next. So if you're interested in that and want to stay tuned, please subscribe for more videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and as always, thank you so much for watching.